India's approach to Africa is guided by the 10 principles outlined by Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his address to the Ugandan Parliament in 2018. These Kampala principles enshrine Africa among the top priorities of India, with engagements through demand-driven development partnership, open markets for trade and investment, digital revolution for Africa's development, a reformed global order, and a free, inclusive maritime order, among others. I'm also pleased to share that over the past decade, more than 150 high-level visits have taken place between us, reflecting the sustained political commitment of both sides. Personally, I have had the honor as External Affairs Minister of visiting African nations over 20 times, and I look forward to a few more visits even in the coming months. India has opened up 17 new diplomatic missions in recent years, expanding our resident footprint to 46 African nations. Friends, the inclusion of the African Union as a permanent member of the G20, to which Ambassador Maliki alluded, during India's presidency, was a seminal step in the direction of India's enduring commitment to the African continent and indeed to the global south. Guided by this spirit, India is a strong votary of Africa's rightful place in a reformed United Nations Security Council. We similarly seek your support to ensure India's permanent seat on the UN Security Council. Excellency, friends, the theme for Africa Day 2026 is Africa, a land of rich culture and opportunities. And this truly captures the dynamism of the continent today. India is proud to be one of Africa's largest trade and investment partners. Our bilateral trade stands at US $93 billion last year. Similarly, India has emerged as one of the top investors in Africa, with cumulative investments exceeding US $80 billion. And these are spread across a varied set of sectors, from telecom, energy, pharmaceuticals, infrastructure, agriculture, and digital services. India stands for an inclusive, demand-driven development cooperation with Africa that enhances local capacity to support national priorities. To this end, I recognize today that the Government of India has extended 190 lines of credit exceeding US $10 billion for projects in over 40 countries of Africa. So far, more than 220 projects worth $4.5 billion have been successfully completed. Many others are in the pipeline. Further, since 2015, India has also extended US $700 million worth of grant assistance to African countries for infrastructure projects, medical aid, HADR support, and other such activities. One of them, which we are particularly proud of, is the fitment of artificial limbs, particularly in conflict areas. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, human resource development remains at the heart of India's engagement with Africa, and all of you diplomats who are here are an example of that. Over the last 11 years, India has offered more than 80,000 scholarships and training opportunities through ITEC, through ICCR, through the C.V. Raman Fellowships, and through the eVBAB digital education portals. We have now made a qualitative transition by opening centers of excellence in Africa, as well as, and I'm particularly proud of these two, the IIT campus, IIT Madras campus in Zanzibar, and the National Forensic Sciences University in Uganda. And I want to tell you, I've had the pleasure of visiting the campuses of both these institutions. During times of crisis, our partnership has repeatedly proven its strength and resilience, whether it was the COVID pandemic, natural disasters, humanitarian emergencies. India has always stood firmly with Africa, guided by the ancient Indian philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family. And we know that Africa has a similar outlook in Ubuntu, I am because we are. At a time when conflicts increasingly impact the global south, our partnership has also focused on food security. Recent examples include the supply of food grains to Burkina Faso, Mozambique, Lesotho, Namibia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Botswana, and Sierra Leone. And our experience in reviving millet production is also one very useful to African nations. In addition, medicines, vaccines, medical equipment, and disaster relief materials have been sent to over 25 African countries in the last 5 years as a gesture of our solidarity. Friends, peace and security in Africa are of vital importance to India. We have stood with African partners through peacekeeping, defense training, capacity building, maritime cooperation. Guided by Vision Mahasagar, we shall continue to work towards safer sea lanes, stronger maritime domain awareness, anti-piracy efforts, and cooperative responses to emerging challenges. Another pillar of our wide-ranging engagement is that of defense training and maritime cooperation. Indian military training teams are undertaking capacity building today in Mozambique, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania and Namibia, to name a few. At the same time, professionals from Cabo Verde, Gambia, Guinea, Liberia, Mali, Sierra Leone, Togo, and Namibia are benefiting from our high-tech training slots. India also participates in multilateral defense and maritime exercises with African countries, including the AFINDEX 2023, Bright Star in 23 and 25, IPSAMAR exercise in 24, and the IKMA 2025 in Tanzania.